left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello. Welcome all to episode or issue 122 of Two Fat Guys Pull List, and boy, do we have a beefy week.
Yeah, it's a lot of books this week.
It was a lot of books this week, and what's crazy is I'm about to introduce a new segment. What's going on, Jaden? About extra reading.
Oh my. You were really on it this week.
I was on it this week. I read my whole pull list.
I barely got what I was supposed to be doing.
I read my whole pull list, and then I added like a bunch of manga and even an extra new comic book series that actually has been going on for 2 issues, but I wanted to read it. So we will get to that shortly before our actual pull list and after the business. So let's talk about the business, the show. And that is, let's talk about our show sponsor, and that is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. That is our LCS that me and Nate both frequent to pick up our books and any other goodies that we like to read and or buy for our man cave thingy or whatever you want to call it, our den.
Our den.
Anyway, yeah. So Collected Comics and Games is a great LCS. If you're ever in the DFW area, make sure to head on over to Collected Comics and Games. They have 2 locations, one in Fort Worth and one in Keller. Brent and Ron both do a really good job of curating some awesome collections and awesome collectibles, so head on out there. But they also have a website, and the website is brainycomics.com. We'd love for you to go visit brainycomics.com. Over there, you can pick up some really neat stuff. You can do a lot of your online shop. If you'd rather not go to the shop, you can buy all your stuff online on brainycomics.com, where you can buy exclusive and variant covers, bundles, bad idea books, new comics, mystery bags, back issues, graphic novels, games, toys and collectibles, and even trading cards.
Ooh.
So, head on over to brainycomics.com if you feel like you want to do a little bit of shopping. And right before you check out, after you pick everything you want, we'd love for you to go to that search bar and type in Two Fat Guys Pull List. And when you do, this Two Fat Guys Pull List upgrade and premium upgrade will pop up. And you're probably asking, well, what is that? Well, what it is when you put it in your cart, Ron will give you, if you do the standard upgrade for $8, you will get 1 mystery exclusive cover or comic cover. If you do the premium, you get 2 mystery exclusive variants. Now, you're probably asking, what do those look like? Well, they look like this. This is his current variants that he has in shop right now. You got a X-Men 141 homage, Venom 13 cover. You got some Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You've got Axe Judgment Day Omega with Psylocke on the cover for a Hellfire Gala kind of like magazine cover. Some really cool variants. And I'm not saying you'll get one of these specifically when you put the upgrade in, but Ron does a really good job of trying to curate the variants depending on what you buy on brainycomics.com. So he'll try to kind of match that. So if you buy a Batman book, we'll put a cool Batman variant cover in there. If you buy an X-Men one, put a cool X-Men one in there. So definitely check it out. Do some shopping. Put the upgrade into your cart. And then when you check out, when your stuff comes in the mail, tag us and let us know what you got, because we'd be really curious to see what mystery exclusives you got when you put that upgrade in your cart. All right, the other business that we have, as usual, we always talk about our sub goal giveaway. Right now, we're on the path to 850 subscribers. I think right now we're at 789 or 790, I believe, somewhere around there. So if you're not already subscribed to the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. I look at the analytics and like over 61% of you that watch our show aren't subscribed. So just hit that subscribe button. It's super easy, you know, and you hit that and you're already automatically entered in to win most of the books that we're giving away. But what we're giving away at 850 subscribers is this bad boy right here, the CBCS 9.8 graded Green Lantern #1 with John Stewart on the cover. This is a retail incentive, pretty sick book. So we will be giving this away live at 850 subscribers. So make sure that you are subscribed and then watch live when we give it away so that you can enter to win this bad boy. And then I got to talk about it. It's probably like the least favorite part of the show that Nate likes to not hear. And that is what we're going to give away at you're supposed to take your headphones off.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So anyway, we're giving away at 1,000 subscribers the CBCS 9.8 graded Amazing Spider-Man #4 Original Sin tie-in, the first appearance of Silk. So when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving this away, even though Nate doesn't want us to, but we will give it away. This book is only climbing in value, so please, please, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about this little new segment here that I kind of whipped up, and it won't happen to every live show.
Oh, it won't?
No, but, well, you know, because sometimes it might not. I don't know. Maybe it will. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to talk about really quick the extra reading that we did this week, if you had the time to do so, which is really odd to say this week when we had 17 books to read. But I just want to give you guys some insight on what else, you know, me and Nate are reading this week, what we're enjoying. So I got a little crazy on buying some manga. So first up, I'm getting ready to read Go-Go Loser Ranger, which is like the evil version of the Power Rangers. So I'm super stoked to read this. It looks like a lot of fun. I think there's like one bad ranger that's kind of incepting the group and kind of like destroying it from the inside. So that sounds like fun. A classic, Neon Genesis Evangelion stories 1 or chapters 1 through 3. Pretty thick boy. Really looking forward to reading this. I've read the first like part, and it was really cool to see like little insights that weren't covered in the anime. Like they were just like how we got to certain points, and it was really cool. So I'm looking forward to continuing this and finishing it, but I've got a lot to go on that one. And then this is the one that I got crazy on. So if you're not familiar, there is an anime called Witchcraft Works that came out in 2000, 14 or 15, and I had never read the manga. But I watched the entire show and I loved it. It only got one season, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read it. Apparently there are 17 volumes, and the 17th volume is coming out in April, the final volume. And so I've read the first volume, but then I just picked up 2 through 5. So I've got a lot of reading to do on this, but I really enjoyed the story. It's super fun. You've got a guy who is sitting next to like the most popular girl in school, but you end up finding out that she's like a witch that's protecting him, and he never knew it. And it's a really cool, like, I like it. I think it's a really cool. I love the anime, and I can't wait to read the entire series. So I'm 1 through 5. That's what I'll be reading. And then for comics, you'd think I'd be done, but I'm not.
He's not done.
I picked up Frank Miller's Presents Ancient Enemies 1 and 2.
Frank Miller?
Book, yeah, dude. This book is wild. It's basically 2 alien aircraft or spaceships or UFOs crash land onto the Earth, and they both have basically subconsciousnesses. I don't know how you say that, if I said that correctly. And they're dueling alien groups, and they've essentially have grafted themselves onto certain beings, and they're going to continue their war on Earth, but through these 2 different people, right? But at the same time, one of the alien ships that crash landed, the US got a hold of it, and they used the alien technology to create superheroes. So there's a lot going on in the book, but I'm super stoked for it. It's the first 2 issues were super fun, and I think a tie-in is actually coming out next week, so I'll be reading that. But it's I read it, I really enjoy it. And Calvin asks, where do you find the time? I don't know. I don't really sleep.
Yeah, I was just about to say I'm very curious where you found the time for this as well.
I mean, I like just read my entire pull list on Wednesday, just like got through it.
Damn,
And then
that's like 4 hours though. I mean, that's a lot.
No, it's not 4 hours.
Okay.
There was
Maybe
only
you
one
a faster reader than I am.
Well, no, there was only one book that I had to read half of it and then stop and then came back to it because it was so fucking thick. Correct. We'll get to that. But other than that, I mean, I got done and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start reading. So I started reading, and I don't know. I just kept on going. I don't know. What do you got?
I don't have nearly as much, so it won't be as long. I have been reading and also a little bit listening to in the car for the audiobook. I've been reading Intercepts, which is a horror novel by TJ Payne. It basically involves a covert government agency has found a way to essentially strip a human of all of its senses. This human body cannot smell, taste, touch, see, feel anything, and by doing this, they enter into this psychic realm that can be manipulated into helping them find and even kill enemies of the state, essentially.
Okay.
But unfortunately, these beings, turns out they find some type of consciousness and fight back. And let me just say that you would love this book. It involves a ton of visceral removal of skin and people digging through the living bodies of humans and like pulling their organs out while they're still alive. Lots of gore and viscera and all the stuff you look for in a novel.
So much fun.
Yeah, it's really great.
Okay.
I actually have like 20 pages left, so I'll finish it after we finish the show.
Okay, well, cool.
It's been pretty intense, but that's it. That's my extended reading. Beyond comics, I have not been able to do anything else yet, Jaden. It is quite intense.
Sounds intense. All right, well, we've pushed it off far too long. Let's get into our pool.
Let's do it.
But let us know down in chat. Are you interested in that? Also, FWC. I saw the third volume at the store, and that's what got me going. You know what? I'm gonna read the first one because that looks intriguing. So I'm trying to catch up. I'm gonna read one. If I enjoy it, then I'll get 2 and 3, and then we'll continue on to that. Because this is the other thing. I'm trying to like consume more manga because at some point I want to incorporate manga volumes into the show, whether it's this live show or if we have another separate show that just deals with manga. I don't know, but we'll figure it out as we go. But I think I just feel like it's something that we could easily integrate into the show or create a new segment about what we're reading on the side outside of floppies. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's kick the show off with Amazing Spider-Man issue number 20 from Kelly and Dodson. Fun little side arc. Definitely enjoyed it. Liked where Pete and Black Cat end at the end of this, like kind of establishing that they're going to kind of go out and maybe do some crime fighting. I don't know. We'll see. But as for the story that surrounded it, I could care less. It was not, it was whatever. For me, it was more about the artwork and just Black Cat and Pete for me. It wasn't really whatever the hell was going on with the arms deal, and I just didn't give a crap about that.
Yeah, it didn't feel like we were adding too much substance to the current story that's going on. The issue previous 19, there was a little bit of interaction with them running into MJ at the resort and stuff. So I thought, okay, well maybe this will have the most minor of ramifications or implications, and we really didn't get that in this issue. That being said, it is a filler issue. I think we knew from the very beginning it was a filler. These, a little bit of a filler. I will say that I was actually a little bit disappointed in the art. Not that Dodson's art, the Dodson team, not that they don't do great art, they do, but some panels in this one kind of felt just kind of shipped.
I think if it wasn't, Yeah, if it wasn't a close up or a big action scene, it was definitely like get it done and like color it really quick. Yeah, I definitely noticed
Which,
that.
when you're not on a huge crunch, a month to month crunch, I don't understand why you're rushing anything. I know the Dotson duo do a massive amount of covers and stuff. I'm not saying they're not busy people, but
Right.
come on. I mean, if you've got an interior on a book, especially the number one publisher's number one book, you would think that you would give every panel your all, right?
Yeah, you definitely could
That's
tell
just
which
me.
panels. No, I totally agree. I mean, there were times I was like, wait, what? You know, it was definitely foggy for sure. Calvin, is this the book where he says MJ's like his sister? I mean, I think they're.
Yes, but that context is a little. I know what you mean, because a lot of people took that out of context on Twitter and kind of blew up with it. Like at one point, literally, it's you know, he's trying to explain how MJ is super important in his life, and he's doing a bad job at it. He's not genuinely saying, yeah, MJ's like my sister. That's not really what's going on there.
Yeah, and then back to our previous reading section, Lee says, I'm reading Pink Lemonade. I've heard a lot of good things about Pink Lemonade.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not sure
I
what
have.
that is. I'll have to check it out.
Patty, he loves her like a sister, and having three older ones, he definitely doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Ones.
That's,
Oh, gotcha.
that's
Yeah. I can't even say no straight up.
yeah. Black Cat's like, nope, try again. It's like, okay,
Lee says Kitty Pryde would be good for Peter. I would. That'd be kind of cool.
I can see that, but I think that's more of because Kitty Pryde's a badass way more than it is because Peter
Right.
and her would work. Also, I like Kitty Pryde gay way more than I do with like
Right. A dude.
Peter, or like with Star-Lord or something.
Star-Lord. I remember reading, or I don't remember. I feel like I read that somewhere in our little journey into comics. I don't remember when though. Was that in Guardians? It might have been in Donny Cates' Guardians. Like it was kind of hinted at, like, oh, I'm off, and it was their relationship had just ended or something like that. All right, well, let's keep going. Okay, Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, issue number 1 from Teenie Howard. I have mixed feelings about this book. All the Captain Britain stuff and the Centuries and the multiversal jumping and what's her name? The baddie. Matt something.
I can't think
the
of
wizard. Anyway, all that defending the multiverse and defending Otherworld and time jumping, all about it. 100% all about it. I really enjoyed that. I really liked or enjoyed the interactions and the new relationship between Betsy and Rachel. I think it's fantastic. The middle of the book, dealing with, I believe it's called Strike.
Yeah.
Could care less, and it totally sucked.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah, couldn't care less. Totally sucked the momentum. Whatever this book was trying to do, when that part started, and I know it's deep, and I know it's probably for like the very seasoned reader of even Excalibur. But dude, like they called back to an original issue of Excalibur, and I was like, "Whoa, that's what? That's like 2.5, 3 years ago. Like that is gone, guy. Like,
oh,
I cannot."
I mean, Teenie is doing a deep cut for not just her era of Excalibur, but like Excalibur as a book in general. It's been going since the 80s.
Oh.
And I mean, if you are a fan of those books and in that continuity, I'm sure this book had way more payoff than it did for us. But you're right. It felt that middle felt, it felt like whatever momentum we were gaining at the beginning really slogged.
Big time. Like
I was like Strike and Peter or whatever his name is. I was just like,
it lost me.
I don't care.
Yeah, it definitely lost me, and I want to, I'm picking up issue 2, but dude, that was rough. Now, if you set that aside, if you take that part of the book outside, and I know that's going to be obviously a big point. Why would you put it in the book if it wasn't? This whole idea of picking a new Captain Britain for the UK, like I am all about it. I am on board of it. I like seeing them jumping into different Captain Britain multiverses, and she's got to jump and save him. I think it's great. That's kind of what I wanted. I think we talked about that. You know, like when we saw it in Ten of Swords and we saw the League of Betsies or whatever, or Captain Britain's formed, we were both kind of like, this is fucking awesome. We want to see more. I think for me, what I'm worried about, but also maybe it might be kind of a double-edged sword, is this going to be another 5 to 6 issue run and then it goes away for a little bit and come back? If it does,
that's for sure.
Oh my god, that, like, part of me is like, that's frustrating, but then at the same time, if we're going to add the strike stuff, then okay, like maybe not. I don't know. I will say the highlight for me for this book was the Peach Momoko cover. That's because that's what I picked up. But it just wasn't. It didn't. It felt like it was getting strong, and then it just kind of it deflated a lot with that strike stuff in the middle of the book, and then it kind of caught its ground again at the end.
Yeah, and we hinted at this at the beginning of the show, but it was dense. Like, this book was dense, and like, as a reader, I still am okay with it, but just like at a certain point, it's like I felt like we were saying not a lot with a lot of words.
Right, and I'm not one to say like, look, I'm not against there being thick parts of a book or a ton of deposition, but it didn't, like, I was reading it and going like, but what are we doing? Like, it didn't feel like it was contributing at all to the story. You know, it's just like, we're just reading to read, and it didn't grab me at all. It just felt like I was kind of stuck in this idea that I don't know what's going on, and it didn't feel purposeful. Like, that did not feel like that's what we were supposed to be feeling, but that's how I felt, if that makes any sense. So I agree with you there. Also, here's the Peach Momoko cover. It's fucking gorgeous. So good. All right, let's keep on going. Deadpool issue number 4 from Wong. This is, again, still having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot going on in the book, right? There's a lot going on.
There is.
And there's a lot of pacing, and it just, after reading half of Captain Britain and then coming to this book, I was like, oh, great. And like, I read it and it just felt good. It read well. The fluidity of the book moved very well. The artwork was absolutely fantastic. I really like this storyline with the symbiote, which we're not really into symbiotes right now. And just that's to me what that whole thing is, right? Like, Carnage is reckless and it's eating Deadpool alive. It's growing out of him. Fuck yeah, right?
Right.
And I just want more. I just want more. I'm very intrigued to see like who's going to turn on who and who's a double agent. It was great.
Did you catch the nod to the X Office at the beginning?
I may have, but I don't remember it.
The weird Venus flytrap morphed thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's breaking it down, and it says Vita, the Venus flytrap, Leia, the lion, and Teeny, the tiger. So Alyssa's doing a little bit of a nod there to the female X Riders, which I thought was pretty cool.
Right.
And then she somehow was able to fit a very crude joke in here that I was like, did I read that correctly? Yep. Nope. There's literally a coming joke in this book. Did you catch that one?
I read everything on Wednesday, so it's like my memory is low.
So it's literally, he's trying to hold on to the Valentine is reaching for the backpack, which is holding the sedative down, keeping the symbiote away from him. And as she's reaching out when they're reaching out is when Doc Ock's arm comes and breaks their arm off. Like, we're like, oh wait, didn't know that could happen. Well, that takes the sedative away. And he goes, oh, hold on, and then you turn the page, and then it says, coming! And then that's when the symbiote bursts out of him. But, like, that's a clear joke right there. Like, I was shocked. I was like, okay, Marvel, good job.
But it's Deadpool. Like, that's just
it is Deadpool. It is Deadpool. I think this continues to hold the humor. The art in this book is really great. And then now we've got something that makes me at least way more intrigued is who exactly is Valentine in this apparent mutant that we really don't know anything about. Even Sage is like, yeah, we don't know who they are at all.
That's awesome. No, this book definitely has a bunch of mystery, which I like, and I think that's, I wouldn't say lacking in the pool, but it's really, I just love to see it, especially in this book. So, all right, let's move over to Doctor Strange, issue number 4, the final issue of Fall Sunrise. I could not tell you what the hell is going on in this book. Something was born. Doctor Strange was supposed to die. He doesn't, but he forgets about it. Like at the end of it, he's literally told to forget about the entire experience. Artwork, phenomenal. If you're gonna buy the Treasury edition, do it just for that. But the story is, I got to go back and read it over again and just take my time with it. But this issue read quicker because there wasn't as much dialogue. But dude, something was born, and Doctor Strange delivered it in 2 planes of existence and forgot about it at the end.
Okay.
There you go. You know, like that's Trad like went super deep. And I think it deserves me reading it again, like in one sitting, just like all of my attention, and I'm sure I will do that.
That's what I wanted to do.
Will I get the Treasury edition? I'd say it's 50-50 right now. But I probably will, because the artwork is Treadmore is just a boss, dude. Like his artwork is just beautiful. So not much I can really say on it, except I don't know what the hell happened in this book, and I feel horrible. I feel horrible saying that. I may be just too dumb, but I gotta read it. I gotta read it again because I just don't know what the hell happened in the book. It was crazy good though when it comes to artwork. Fantastic. And Power, I did see that. Yeah, Hulk is ending, which is not a surprise. Nope. All right, Immoral X-Men issue number 1, Sins of Sinister. I enjoyed it. I am 100% in this event. I'm digging what Karen's doing. I know some people didn't quite like it, this issue. I enjoyed. Yeah, I've read. I'm not gonna name names, but there's some people that didn't like it.
I mean, what's the tea, man? Who didn't like it?
Just
did Dave not like it?
No, I don't know because I was watching it before the show. I'm sure he liked it. Dude, come on.
Yeah,
he loves this stuff.
Anyway, I know who you're talking about. My bad. Okay.
Right. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I liked seeing the insight. I love Sinister quite literally being on his knees and not. He literally can't figure out how to get out of the situation. And I love that his plan backfired again, even though it was backfiring every time he would reset the multiverse or the universe with Moira. But it finally caught up to him. And the one thing that I know this is coming. The one thing that I absolutely loved seeing in this book, because it's the key to fixing everything, is Rasputin. Seeing Rasputin being finally, discovered or being shown off, and he's like, "Oh, this is here's the thing that's gonna save y'all." In which, in reality, it's really, here's what's going to save my ass and get me out of this whole situation. We know it's coming. And I know that you said temper your expectations. She's not going to make it out of the event. I'm going to hold out hope, and Rasputin will make it out of Sins of Sinister. We will see her make the jump, in my opinion. We'll see. But overall, really dug it. I love this idea of even though the mutants that have been resurrected have Sinister inside of them, they're still themselves, and they're still
they still have a lot of themselves there.
Yeah. So overall, I enjoyed it. I think it was really fun.
Yeah. I don't know that I have too much more to add except that this book had a surprising amount of humor in it. That I was for some reason I was expecting this issue to be a little bit more on a serious tone, but while sure there was to a certain extent, there was a good amount of humor in here that I found to be very entertaining. I think Kieran Gillen has pretty much cemented himself as the #1 voice of Sinister, like capturing his voice and him as a character.
Yeah. Power says, I like this. I was lost at the Logan patch, and I was a bit lost that we didn't get more information on the chimeras. Like we said, we should have gotten more info on different generations, seeing as this is a real big part of the X-Men moving forward. I think we will. I think in Immoral, even though we only have 2 more issues of Immoral, I think we will. We're never gonna get the drawn out, super detailed roadmap with graphics that Hickman probably would have done. But we just got to move on from that. But the fact that we have chimeras and we're gonna get Rasputin, count your blessings. And I'm here for it. There's issue 1 has an amazing Rasputin cover that I still want to get my hands on, and I hope Ron at some point finds a way to get me it because it's amazing, and I'll actually pop that up on the screen. But I think if the Chimera play is definitely going to be in Immoral. Now, they may jump over into, they already have in Cy Spurrier's book, right? The Nightcrawlers are Chimeras.
Right.
But, who knows? We might actually get more upcoming. Was it issue 1 or issue 2? Who's got the... Oh, man. Which was it, Immoral X-Men, or was it Storm's book that had the Rasputin cover that I like?
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, I gotta find it now because I want to just see it.
It was probably the Sins of Sinister #1, like the Omega issue.
Oh, that's right. It was the Alpha, right? That thing is so freaking cool, and I want to get a hold of it. Let's see here. I know I'm stalling on the show, but I don't care because everyone needs to see this. Yes. Oh my gosh, this cover is so awesome. Yeah, come on. She's gonna save the entire event. I'm telling you right now. She's gonna be the key to this.
I don't know. That sounds like hopeful thinking there.
Okay, well, let's go down the rabbit hole.
No, let's not. We've got 20 books to cover.
Okay, I'm going to be Charlie. Here's my roadmap. Okay, look. So on the second cover, there she is, freaking fighting a bunch of Mystiques, right? And then if you go to the third cover, she's right there. She's leading it. Telling you.
Do you want me to explain? It's so easy. You want me to explain this to you?
Go ahead.
It's because the people who make the decisions like this are smart, and they know that they've got simps like you that will pay for the books and buy them because she's there.
Yeah, I'm glad. She's a cool character, and she deserves to be more than in just Hickman's main event.
I agree with all this. It's just not gonna happen.
We'll see. Anyway.
Okay.
Also, Power says, I like Kieran, but I don't think he can lead the office. He's a good supporting writer like Seb. Yeah, well, yeah.
Kieran's already a better leader than Hickman was.
Oh, shit. Hot take.
He's still here.
He's still here. Okay, let's talk about She-Hulk issue number 10 from Raoul. This book is great, dude. This book is so good, and I love the slice of life aspect of it. I liked freaking Hellcat shows up in this book and does
shit.
Yeah, dude, she shows up and shows up for Jennifer and they talk it out. I fucking love that. We get to see Jen so detached from reality because she literally her and Jack's connection just felt so genuine to her. It didn't feel like work. It felt like she says when she's talking to Hellcat, she's like, listen, I felt like I was Jen and I was She-Hulk with him. I was me. I was 100% me. I wasn't either or. I was just who I could be with Jack. Mm-hmm. And she's, she was heartbroken. She's heartbroken that he left, or no, that he died. And then he takes off. She thought he died. His powers come back. He fucking splits. He's like, I'm out, because he knows that he's radioactive. He can suck the gamma radiation out of her by just being next to her. He understands the danger, but she doesn't give a shit, right? So she talks it out with Hellcat, and I can't remember how he comes back, but at some point, they show her in different situations, in the courtroom, fighting with the Avengers, and she's just not she's there, but she's not mentally present. She's just kind of floating. And then he shows back up. He shows back up in her apartment in his suit, and he essentially tells her, the reason why I split is because I don't know how to control my powers. I don't want to hurt you. and she's pissed. She's like, listen, dude, like you couldn't have like even sent me a text or whatever and said like, hey, I'm still alive, because she thought he was dead. But the issue ends with them essentially. It's looking like they're going to get back together. It looks like they're going to try to figure it out and try to keep Jack around and figure out the mystery of Jack, and then figure out about these two new villains that have been trying to or that essentially stole her blood from the Avengers and turned themselves into Hulks. I'm digging this book. This book is so much fun. It just feels genuine. It feels like we're kind of, and I've read other She-Hulk comics, and they feel a lot like this as well, where you just feel like you're on the same level with Jen, and it feels very relatable. Like you feel like you can. It feels like a superhero comic, but it also feels like a slice of life comic, which I really, really enjoy. I think that's a fun aspect to it. I'm not saying that I want all my comics to be like that, but I think this She-Hulk comic does a really good job of that, of instilling that kind of idea. And I think it's smart writing, and the artwork was fantastic. I know we got a new artist in this book now for a little bit longer. It's the same artist that was with Raoul on Champions, so there's some familiarity there. They both know how to work with each other. I think it's great. I don't know, man. It's not my pick of the week, but it was really fun, and I really enjoyed the book. So I'll continue to profess that if you're not reading it, I think you should give it a shot. And Nate, you need to pick up the trade, because
I do.
It's gonna be good.
Should be out soon.
All right, Strange Academy Finals, issue number 4, Like Father, Like Son. Except not. This is one of the best, I think one of the best books right now at Marvel. And my only complaint, but I will say it with the most gratitude possible, the book doesn't come out nearly enough. It doesn't come out quickly enough. Yeah. But that's okay, because we have the same creative team every issue, so I'll deal with it. Mm-hmm. My only worry, and again, if they don't want to write it, they don't want to write it, right? But I have my worry is that when this little Strange Academy Finals ends, we're done. And I hope that's not the case. I hope this continues. Like, I hope once we finish this arc and, our heroes get back together, who knows? I just hope it doesn't just end. I hope Young and Ramos continue. But at the same time, I get it. If they're burnt out, they're burnt out. But this was a super fun issue for me.
Yes, it was a very fun issue. But like most of their issues too, I felt like it read very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's not even to say like a lot didn't happen. It did. I just felt like, I don't know. Maybe I just enjoyed the book so much that I zoomed through it and I'm just like, damn it, now more.
I think that's what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. So maybe that's not a really valid criticism. But another thing is, I don't know if this is a good decision or not, but I am torn up every time we see evil.
Emily.
Is
Emily?
I mean, I'm just so frustrated because I'm like, no. Let's go back to the other version. Let's go back to, the first volume version, because I'm sure everything will get fixed there in the end. Or I don't know, maybe this will be a great villain to use because we all want her to be good. But
I think it's great.
It tears me up.
I think that's perfect. Like I think Young is doing a great job of manipulating the reader in the right way. I don't know, man. Like this world that they're building is just so lush and so vibrant, and the fact that you already have that connection with this character, right? And it's still a fairly new series, and the fact that you already feel that emotionally connected to that character, and you're so pissed that and angry that she's evil, I think speaks to Young's work and Ramos as well. I liked seeing the brother come back, the Asgardian brother come back. Now remind me, the mother is Enchantress, but who's the father?
I don't think we know.
We know, okay, so we don't know if we don't think it's Thor, but
no, it's for sure not Thor.
Yeah, but anyway, liked it, and I also like seeing Dylan like just being a complete opposite of his dad, and helping out the community, and like in this issue, they're helping out with the city because they're about to get hit by a hurricane. Thought that was great. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Whenever we see Emily being corrupted by Dormammu, like, fuck, dude, it's just, what are you doing? And maybe there's a master plan. Who knows?
Don't do that.
Yeah. All right, Thor. Again, I don't know why it doesn't have the issue on here.
I don't even remember either.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. 31.
31.
Some weird shit's going on in this book. Some weird stuff's going on in this book. We were introduced to his like baby sister, and now she's like grown up in this alternate vision dimension vault thing. But there's just this mystery of why Valhalla is empty, and I can't remember the hook. But I remember, I do remember Odinhammer is pissed that we're going down this rabbit hole, right? But I don't remember how it ends. I remember the conversations with the Valkyrie and them trying to solve this mystery of why Valhalla is empty. But how did it end? I don't remember.
Doctor Doom has Hela locked up.
That's right. And he's playing the game. He's doing something.
He's involved in some capacity.
Right.
Because, of course.
I don't agree with some of the criticism that this book is getting, that Groenbeck is not. I don't agree with the criticism that Groenbeck is not worthy of writing Thor. I think she's the perfect person to be writing Thor right now. I didn't find this issue.
Who on earth would say that?
It's, I don't know. I think it's the perfect writer outside of Donnie to be writing this right now. Yeah. And I think she's doing a fantastic job of continuing his story and adding, I actually, when I was reading this, I felt like Donnie was writing it. Like when I was reading it, I was like, this kind of feels like Donnie's right. Like the way the characters were talking to each other, it didn't feel as detail oriented in the dialogue that usually Groenbeck will do, right? It felt like even when Groenbeck was describing the scene, of them with Valhalla being empty and them going through the vaults, like it felt like Donnie. So
that does not seem like a valid criticism to me whatsoever.
No, I don't think so either. I think this book is right on track, and I love the fact that Groenbeck's on the book. I think maybe we got a crash course on her writing Asgardian characters with the Valkyrie run, which I thought was great. So maybe we just that's our bias, but I don't know. Like
maybe
I think her writing is perfect for this book. I think it suits the voice very well.
Yeah, and of course, her being the writer, we had to have Jane involved, which made me always makes me happy. I want Jane involved in all 4 comics.
Yeah, she needs to have her ongoing. Like, let's just get over it. All right, let's jump over to DC with World's Finest, issue number 12. Fun little in-between issue. Nothing crazy. I enjoyed it. Seeing this, kind of. I guess I was one of those people that kind of wished that the date had worked. That their date had been successful. I think when I was reading it, I was like, man, that kind of sucks that they're not. But that being said, I really enjoyed Wade's insight to both of their views of the date. And I think Wade does a really good job of writing Supergirl. I think he just has her voice. And I liked her self-criticism at the end of the issue when she was saying like she just doesn't like the way who she is when she's around Robin. Like she just doesn't. It was interesting. I liked that insight. I think this issue would have been 10 times more effective and much more enjoyable. And I'm not saying this because I just absolutely hated the art, but this book missed. What's his name?
Dan Mora.
Yeah, Mora's artwork. It just misses Mora's artwork, especially when he's on the cover.
Yeah. I think this was probably just an issue that I could have missed personally because
of course.
It was the awkwardness was too awkward. It made it to the point where I was like, I don't want to read this. Like it was just weird. The characterizations felt a little strange to me.
Okay.
with Dick, and I just was like, which sure, I mean, he is young Dick Grayson here. He is not the Nightwing, the guy that we're reading in Nightwing right now. But it just felt weird to me. I don't know, felt weird.
I think that was the point, and I think the issue was successful in that. Like it made you feel ick. All right, tell me about DC's Lazarus Planet.
What do you want me to tell you? That the book would have been okay, but they couldn't even. The artist that I love so much couldn't even do the whole book. Riccardo Federici's art is fucking amazing, and like this book is perfect to his style. The dark monsters and weird shit of DC's universe plays right into his art style. But like ultimately, why did we need this event? I guess because DC is wanting to have a revamp of their magic users, most of which are characters that beginner to intermediate DC readers as ourselves aren't going to recognize or care about. Things happen. There wasn't anything that happened in this book that I personally cared about. What is the old Green Lantern, the original Green Lantern, back to being the Spectre again? I don't know how long it's been since that's happened. Black Alice is thought to be dead by everyone, but isn't dead in this thing. We've got a couple of different characters that have bonus powers, like Power Girl is now got some extra powers. Don't care about that. And then you've got a few characters that are being created essentially because of these Lazarus reigns, right? Like they gain superpowers. That's, to be seen how that goes. There are some interesting books, like Alyssa Long has a book coming out that I'm interested in that spins out of this. But like ultimately, what did it really matter for the DC universe? I have no idea. I'm not the right person to tell you, but I don't know.
We've talked about this. Like when this got announced and we read the first issue, we knew exactly what was going to happen. What's going to happen? Obviously they're launching a bunch of new, 3 or 4 different new characters, new power sets. And then as we read our other DC books that we regularly read, whether it's World's Finest, or it won't be World's Finest, but Batman or Superman or any other DC book that we decide to pick up, there will be that character or that character with the revamp power set, and you'll read it and go, huh? And then there'll be a little box that says, go read Lazarus Planet. And you're like, but why, dude? But why, my guy? Like, come on. And to me, I know Marvel does it. Don't get me wrong. Marvel does the same fucking thing, right? And I just think they do it more effective where it actually matters. It makes sense, right?
Sure.
I just feel like, and there are plenty of examples that I could use, but with DC, it doesn't feel
Empire. Empire was an event that everyone hated pretty much. I liked it, but most people hated it, and it has ramifications that are still. We were literally talking about the ramifications of Empire in the middle of a X-Men side event today.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's
so, but with this, it's like it just feels, and I'm sure this is not the case, but with DC, it just feels like it's a grab. It's just a grab, and there's no good jumping on point for continuity. I made a stupid TikTok for our channel today, where it's basically saying DC or even comic book readers are just burnt out with DC's like constant soft reboots. We had 5G that was supposed to happen, right? And that's where we were going to jump on, essentially. Like we got, I was reading Death Metal, and then, here comes 5G. Then it got killed before it even started, and then here's Infinite Frontier. And before Infinite Frontier even started, it got killed, right? And then we had this weird, like, floating of what we're doing, and then we get this Lazarus Planet.
What I think is even worse is Infinite Frontier did nothing got canceled from Infinite Frontier. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, but it wasn't anything. So
it wasn't anything.
We've got the Infinite Frontier book in the past year and a half. We've got an Infinite Frontier, Dark Crisis, and Lazarus Planet. And I don't know what As what? Why did we get any of those?
It doesn't feel consequential. What up, Rich?
What's up, Rich? Jeez.
It doesn't feel consequential, but also it just feels like a waste of time. Like I don't feel like I'm invested. Like I don't feel like I'm being beckoned to invest in the story that we're being told, because hey, a year and a half from now, who's ready for blah blah blah? You know, like we're getting ready to do Dawn of DC, and if I'm honest with you, there are some cool things coming out of Dawn that I'm interested in, right? But when either this winter happens or spring or next summer, and the next hot writer at DC is like, and get ready for the next big thing that's going to reset everything, and the you know what I mean? And there's going to be new, you know, like it doesn't feel like it matters. And I didn't even read this book, and there's a book that is on the list that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I have concerns. I have total concerns. I'm sure it's probably the next book. I don't know. I don't remember, but I'm glad I didn't read this. That's all. I said all that to say I'm extremely frustrated with DC, because it's something that I want us to have involvement in with the show, because I want us to have a taste of everything on the show. But it's really hard when 9 times out of 10 the books from DC are just like, and I wouldn't say the books, it's the events. It's these little mini events that are saying things are going to change, and then nothing changes, or they're so inconsequential that I don't even listen to the tease of like, hey, go back and read Lazarus Planet. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And C says time and money, 100% time and money. All right, let's talk about Nightwing issue 101. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we get hints of what happened. What happened in Dark Crisis is so important to what's going on here in Nightwing. And I'm like, yeah, but Dark Crisis sucked. Like, it was not fun.
Well, but that also isn't important. You learn all pertinent information in this book about
right. Anyway, I'm still digging the book. I like that Tom Taylor is kind of spearheading this whole getting ready for the Titans to be much bigger and more involved in the DC universe, right? And so we're getting that here in Nightwing. And then we're going to get a Titan book, which is going to be great. I cannot wait to read that. So I enjoyed it. I liked this little mystery that we had here, the Titans being framed essentially for a character. You know, we've got this demon that's coming after a little girl that we got involved with.
Blockbuster's daughter.
Yeah, Blockbuster's daughter, who's apparently, you know, her soul had been agreed upon to be taken by this demon from Blockbuster, but now he's come to get his debt paid, and the Titans have her. So, you know, we've got some conflict there. What this book did for me was just to confirm that I am excited for the Titan book and for what DC is going to do with the Titans, and them essentially being the next Justice League. I'm here for it. Which I never thought I would say, you know, like I'm still frustrated that we don't have a Justice League book, but the fact that the Titans are the ones that are going to be the ones taking the reins. Now, if we get the Titans book and they're still going to fucking do Titan Academy, then I got a problem, because Titan Academy was trash. That was not good. Like, I was not impressed with that. So if as long as they leave that behind, I'm here for it.
Sure. Okay. That doesn't have anything to do with Nightwing.
Okay, go ahead. All right, I know, but that's what I got from the book. That's for me.
I agree. I think I don't want Nightwing to turn into a Titans book because we're getting a Titans book. Right. However, this book made me excited for the Titans book because Tom Taylor is writing it, and so it feels like this was a little bit of like a tease to get in there. I'll need some of our more DC educated folks to enlighten me, but this is the first time that I was in this Nightwing book that I saw bad guys that I was like, I don't know who these people are at all. Grinning Man and Lord Neron, no clue who these people are, how they fit, or what's going on there in the slightest bit.
Neron jumped in.
Are these Titan villains or
no? Maybe. I know that Neron popped up in my Shazam book that I was reading, that little mini, and I was like, what the fuck is it? Because he just looks like a dude, but apparently he's a demon. I don't know.
Anyway, I would say that this is still par for the course on the Nightwing books. It's still good. Maybe it was like not the best one ever, but it's still.
No,
I saw a lot of fun with it.
it was good. Rich says total event fatigue here, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but they announced another night terrors for the summer. Dude, I don't know.
I have not heard that.
I'll look it up. Whatever. Jen says, "Yeah, I agree with Jim. They hype up nothing. Yeah, dude. There's not like. I felt like reading Dark Knight's Death Metal had hype. It was cool. Like, and it did stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And it did, like, when it ended. I'm going back into this whole DC rant. I feel like I do it every week. But when Dark Knight's Death Metal ended, it's set up for Wonder Woman to be part of this omniversal council that just watched and made sure everything was okay, right? And protected it. And within the first alpha issue of Infinite Frontier, they took it away. So everything they built up, this massive event that had multiple books, it just went away. And Wonder Woman was back. And that, to me, was that immortalized what DC does. They have these really good, like, really cool, awesome ideas, and then they're like, yeah, no. We're gonna go do this. I'm sure in 5G. I remember when 5G got announced. We were talking about there being a new Batman, and like everything was getting revamped. Mm-hmm. We can't do that. No, can't do that. And like, why not? Why not?
Because they're legacy characters. And
Who gives a
done
shit?
It all before. That's the other thing, is they've done it.
All right, whatever.
Move on.
All right. Dawn of DC Superman #1.
That's chips.
Oh shit!
This is my pick of the week.
I was not expecting that at all.
I know you were. I know you weren't, and that's why it's my pick of the week. That's why it's a curveball. I really, really, really enjoyed this book, and that's why I'm so concerned with the book.
Oh, concerned? What?
Here's why I'm concerned, because there's some really cool and fun ideas going on in this book. We've got Lex. Is it a trap? Is it not? Is he setting up Superman? Or, of course he is. And he's giving him all of LexCorp, and now it's Superman Corps or whatever Corp. We've got all these other super characters that are going to be part of the team, essentially, and going to be doing their own thing, and they're going to get their own books. All about it. We're getting new villains. The artwork in this book was phenomenal.
I did not tell you?
Yeah, the artwork was so good.
Man.
And what am I worried about this book?
Yeah, what are you worried about?
This reminds me of Bendis's Justice League run, where, hold on, just hear me out before you make a frowny face and look like you're shitting.
I'm making a frowny face because that was a weird statement.
Well, here's why it's valid. When Bendis's Justice League started, right, and we started reading it, it was fucking fire. It was hype. We were like, who's this mystery villain? We've got a new member on the team. We're jumping into the multiverse. Here we go. The artwork, fucking awesome. It was so cool. And then we got 3 issues in. Artist changed. Story arc got dropped. We're jumping into like spy double agent shit. I don't remember what it was called. It was like Knight's Pawn or some shit like that. I don't remember.
Checkmate.
But
yeah.
Yeah, Checkmate. There you go. But what started off as this really fun, cool thing just devolved into this random ass run that made no sense. Now, I'm not saying Wilson is Bendis, and I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that's happened enough in a lot of our DC books that I'm worried to get hyped on this book. I mean, not worried enough that I didn't make it my pick of the week, but it warranted. I thought it was fun. I liked the way the character was written. I liked the side characters. I'm very intrigued with these new villains. I know at some point Cyborg Superman is coming into the fray. I don't know if it's in this book or if it's in another super book, but I don't give a shit. One of my favorite characters when it comes to those kinds of villains. I'm intrigued. I liked it all. I liked Lois being in charge of the Daily Planet and being kind of an ass to all the writers. I loved it. I can't wait to see the rest of the supers. You know, the rest of the L team. You know, am I buying the other books? Fuck yeah, I am. I'm so stoked because I'm hoping at some point we get to that House of L storyline that we got in Infinite Frontier. I'm sure we won't.
That's not happening in this book. No way.
Well, no, not in this book, but I'm hoping that we'll get this cool event that was kind of teased.
No, don't read Superman if you're wanting House of L. Read Superman because you like what's going on.
I do like what's going on, but I can hope.
But I'm tired of hearing you talk about House of L. I'm tired of hearing it because it's not going to happen.
Why?
Just
Your
like
boy
you
wrote it.
Keep talking about because he's not going to do it. That was a future state thing. That's like in comic book
Guys,
years. That's 30
he's yelling
years
at
ago.
me. He's yelling at me.
It's just like Rasputin. You're never going to see her again after these issues. Never.
Why you gotta be mean, dude?
It's not going to happen until
positive.
It's not going to happen until we're old men and old men. And Kieran Gillen's writing his like comeback. Remember back in the 2020s where we remember House and Powers of X and Krakoa? And it's, and then all the kids that do shows are going to be like, God damn, we're going back to the 2020s. I hate this shit. Why can't we do now stuff?
Let's get to the chat.
Okay.
Let's see, Rich. Yep, and the best event that is happening is not even being mentioned in the main DC. The 1 Minute War in Flash is actually really good. I've heard that.
I've been meaning to catch up on that actually. That's the one book I think I might try to catch up on.
Calvin, DC never wants to stick to anything they do. Jaden, they practically lose interest halfway through. James Campbell is the GOAT. I really enjoyed Superman.
Yes.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. What up, Joe? All right, tell me how you thought about this book because I love this book and it's my pick of the week.
Yeah, it's not my pick of the week, but I did really enjoy this book. And now it could be because I read it fairly recently, but this had a very big John Byrne feel to me, like a redux, if you will, which is exactly what we're going for, right? Like, that's kind of what this is supposed to be. But like, yeah, having Jimmy Olsen involved and now that people don't know who Superman is again, he's assuming his secret identity. Clark Kent, the writer. It's very kitschy. It's in old school. So if that's not your thing, I don't know if this will work. But honestly, to me, the artwork is what took it above and beyond for me. Anytime you put Jamal Campbell's name on something, I'm going to buy it because it's just great. I think this is. To me, this is the more classic Lex stuff where he's like scheming in the background and like making it look like forcing Superman's hand. Tries it's instead of him like suiting up and fighting him in a big mech or some shit like that.
Right. Well, I'll say this. I think you made a really good observation. I just want to fuse the two ideas. It felt old school campy, but then it also felt new with this idea of him having his own company and specialists and scientists and equipment and the team, right? Like I felt like that was kind of a new age, and even the villains, it feels very like, oh, this is new. So I think I think Williamson is doing a really good job of melding the two ideas together. It still kind of feels old school and campy for like people that just want Superman to be Superman, right? And I know that's a stupid thing to say, but there are people out there like that, like, I just want Superman to be the regular Superman. Okay, well, here you go, right? But then you get these new ideas and concepts with the corporation and the whole Superman family and them getting their own books and them being involved. I think it's kind of best of both worlds, which I applaud Campbell and DC for doing. I think this is the kind of stuff for me which is exciting, right? Like we get a little taste of like, oh yeah, that's what Superman's kind of supposed to be, right? But then we get all these other new ideas that we're incorporating to make it feel more fluid and exciting.
I think Disciple puts it best. I mean, an alien in spandex flying around defending Metropolis from a bald billionaire is a cartoon concept. It shouldn't have to take itself too seriously. And I agree. I think that was a great way to a great tone to take with this book.
Joe says, what's y'all's thoughts on Superman going back to the basics? I had a convo about what I don't like about it because it feels like a giant step back for the character. It's like making Spider-Man a teen again.
Does it feel like we're going?
It doesn't feel
I
like
see
we're
what you're
going back.
saying. I don't feel like we are going back to the basics so much. I literally just said it felt like right? Like, so obviously to some extent, yes, I totally agree with what you're saying. I don't know that I would say it to me that it feels like Spider-Man going back to a teen, something I very much hate. I feel like Spider-Man should be like 38 to 42 with like a couple kids by now, but regardless, I'm not bothered by this direction at all. I don't know how I prefer my Superman, if I'm being honest, because
how would you like your Superman this evening?
I really enjoyed the like far out there war world. We're in space. We're fighting aliens. Nothing to do with humans or Earth or cities or anything like that. But I don't know. We did that for a year and a half. I think I'm okay with this back to Metropolis focus, Lex scheming focus. I think Lex is a better character when he's a mastermind pulling strings locked in a jail cell, not like I just said, putting on a mech suit and being the Superman.
Right.
I don't know. I like it. I think there's Disciple says, I think there's absolutely a place for less stories alongside genre defining ones like Up in the Sky for All Seasons or All Star. Yeah, I agree. And I think they're kind of letting that happen, right? It seems like from just this one issue, it seems like Johnson and Action Comics are going to take on more of the big picture stuff, and Williamson and the Superman book are going to be a little bit more down to earth, a little bit
House
more
L,
nitty gritty.
Yeah, House L. Patty, let's take it back to when Lex was mad at Superman for blowing his hair off while he saved his life from his own chemical fail. Rich, I see what you mean, Joe, but also I feel like they hinted at Clark learning to be Clark again without people knowing he's Superman. I love a lot of the different versions of Superman writers takes on and enjoy how versatile he is. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It's my pick of the week, but again, I'm super worried about it because I don't want to get attached too much to the book, and then like 3 issues in, issue 4, it's like, oh, now we got this random artist, but we're still doing the same story, and it's gonna feel so disconnected. Or, oh, it's Legacy issue 1050, or some shit, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. We're past that, but yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, don't derail it. You've got something good going on here. I'm enjoying it. Don't give Superman the attention that he deserves, right? Give it an all-star cast, give it a great writer, and give it a great artist, and make it consistent, right? Give it some consistency. And if you can't do that, find someone that is very close to Campbell. So if he's got to take a break, if you have, let's talk about X-Men. If you have Pepe Larraz on X-Men, and then he's got to take a 2-issue break, put Pena on the book, and it almost feels like he didn't even leave the book. Do that for me, please. Superman should get a weekly series.
I depending on how they do the releases, I am going to be doing that. I mean, we have Action, Superman, and then what's John's book going to be called?
Dude, there's
Son of Superman or something, or
there's that one, and then there's the other one,
Adventures of Superman. That's what it is.
Right, and then there's the other one with the Superman Lex Luthor clone, Superboy, coming out too.
Oh yeah, but that's just a 6-issue mini.
Whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't tie into anything really. That was like from that route. I'm just saying that was from that event from like a year ago.
Whatever.
Anyway, and you know how DC is with having books. It's like, all right, part 1 is in this book. No, part 1 in Action, part 2 in Superman, part 3 in Adventures. Yeah. Calvin, I think we're gonna get plenty of this as a weekly. Joe says also Superman. Earlier Joe said if everyone is aged up and moved on, you would think Jimmy Olsen wouldn't be the same character since the 40s. Would like to see some progression for that character at least. And I very much agree. I do think that was actually probably a sore thumb point for me in this book. I was like, Jimmy's awkward to me. I don't know, for whatever reason, Jimmy Olsen's always been kind of maybe it's too silly, but
Joe says, I want to get a Supergirl book. I agree, and I think it should be Mark Waid. I think Mark Waid should write it. But he's not. He's writing Shazam.
Yeah. Also, Superman always listen out for Lex is contradicting what Lex got made out about how Superman never thinks about him. I'm not following that one.
Let me read it again. Also, Superman always listens out. Listens
Always,
out for Lex.
always
Listens-
listening
listens
out for Lex is
Lex.
contradicting. Yeah, I can see that. Patty said, "I can't lie. I've read most of my Superman newspapers, so I know a lot about the game."
What's a newspaper? I'm kidding.
A newspaper? I'm
kidding.
surprised. I'm surprised a kid like you knows what a newspaper.
A newspaper is. All right, let's move on. This is my pick of the week. All right, let's jump over to Boom Studios. Something's Killing the Children, number 29.
Push the button. Push the button.
No one's surprised. Wow.
Smash that button.
Not a surprise. Mine was a surprise. Think it made the show a lot better. And then we got this guy who's like,
sorry. If I could do pick of the year so far, this would be pick of the year.
So predictable.
Sorry. It's so much better than all the other stuff we're reading. It's not even.
Okay.
Can I help you?
The floor is yours. Go ahead, sir. Jeez.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
For those of you that are not really reading Something is Killing the Children, and just sort of listening to it through the show, maybe, you don't have like a comic book show where you're supposed to be reviewing the best of the best.
Shut the fuck up.
And you're just somehow still missing it.
Uh-huh.
We're in the mix of a showdown here where, Erica is getting framed. We get the whole police station gets slaughtered by whatever her name is, the assassin, and Erica is just barely able to escape, and it looks like the whole damn thing is going to get framed on her. So we do get a little bit of a glimpse on what's going on there, what's going on, and what's going on with Erica. And that's only like 4 pages of the book. And then the rest of the book takes us into a place I was not expecting at all. And it takes us to the funeral of Gary, the guy that was helping Erica that ends up getting killed by the assassin when she's hunting down Erica. Gary's the retired member of the House of Slaughter who was helping Erica and ends up getting killed. So they're all having a funeral for Gary. And Cecilia is the leader of the White Masks, who we have seen often. She has been a antagonist for Erica at multiple points. There's no love lost between them whatsoever. And she basically tells the old man, the leader of the house, the dude with the dragon face, who, by the way, we finally see him unmasked. He finally takes
no jaw.
His face is all fucked up. He's got a jaw, but his face is all fucked up.
Okay.
So we finally see this dude unmasked, and then we see Cecilia questioning him straight up. She's like, "Yo, I don't know about this girl, this assassin. Like, she came down and killed Gary. Poor Gary didn't deserve this.
Gary, no, not Gary."
And he's like, "Well, Gary was helping a rogue," and she's like, "Not really though, and he definitely didn't deserve. She should have at least told us." And he's like, "Well, actually, let me paint you a picture." And then we get this insight into the inner politics of how the Order of St. George works. And we find out that this cutthroat is causing a problem and has caused problems for the Order of St. George in the past. So much so that it almost caused the organization to be outed to the US government. And basically we find out that she has been sent down to kill Erica, not necessarily because they think she's the best one to kill her, but because they don't really care who ends up dying. They don't care if Erica ends up killing her to help take care of essentially a mess that the Order has. We also get into insight that, now with Erica being the last Black Mask, Erica and Aaron, of course, were the last 2 Black Masks. Aaron dies. Erica's a rogue agent. The House of Slaughter doesn't have any current Black Masks, so the house is looking pretty rough. We I don't know, we get a lot of insight into the way that the inner workings of not only the House of Slaughter work, but the entire Order of St. George works. Total twist that I was not expecting at all. To get this much backstory and insight into a part of the universe that we've had such little exposure to. It just kind of shows that Tinian knows what he's doing, that issue 29, we're still getting more and more and more information that we really want. And of course, the book still starts out with a super gruesome, bloody portrayal of the aftermath of the entire police station getting decimated. So
Okay.
I don't know. This is the best comic in all of comics coming out right now. It makes no sense for anyone that's not reading this book. It makes no sense. And guess what? When issue 30 comes out, I say it's my pick of the week, and it makes no sense that anyone's reading it. That's just going to keep repeating it over and over again.
God, so
So
boring.
eventually, somebody starts reading the book.
Let's get to chat.
Love
Rich, you're banned. I'm kidding. So I know I missed Marvel, but I wanted to say it. Not a fan of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not an interesting issue for me at all.
He hated it.
Wow, dude. Wow, dude. Come on, man. Just kidding. Joe, damn, I missed a lot. I'm gonna have to rewatch the show tomorrow. Mr. World's Finest Talk. Wonder if anyone had a problem or thought it was weird that Kara dated a 14-year-old. She's older than Clark.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
Didn't even think. Nope. We did not talk about that.
Young at heart, right? Oh.
Did you just say that? Anyway, Jaden.
I mean, she's
Cradle Rubber. Jaden. Well, to be fair, she's still a teenager. She was just stuck in space, but I wouldn't want to date a 14-year-old at 16. Yeah. Joe, I know she was frozen or something, but we don't look at Captain America as a 25-year-old man either.
That's true. That's very true.
All right. A new book, a new publisher from Whatnot Publishing. Number 1, we have Liquid Kill, issue number 1. This book is... It's fun. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I think that's the point. Like, I think that's the... It's shrouded in mystery, if you will. Artwork is very... I wouldn't say abstract, but it's not the norm. It's definitely a new or a different artist, different style. You've got a group of assassins who are just very blunt in their work, and they will do whatever it takes to get to what they need to do, which we don't know what that is at the moment. But it's a fun book to the point where I'm getting issue 2. The artwork definitely drew me. It was a super fast read because there wasn't a lot of dialogue, but we've got this really cool kind of fusion cyberpunk anime thing going on here. It's colored, so it's not black and white, so you don't have to complain about that, Nate, if you decide to read it.
I would. That's for sure.
I know you would. But something interesting is happening in this book. I was initially gravitated towards the book because of the name specifically. Liquid Kill just sounded cool, and I was like, fuck it, let's try something new. It's from Whatnot. I'm about it. Where there's a void that needs to be filled with Aftershock going out of business. So I picked it up. Definitely a weird book. I think if you're looking for something new and kind of abstract, this is definitely for you. If you're looking for something kind of cyberpunky, and
I like that.
I would also say kind of gruesome. A dude's head gets cut off in this book. Like pretty legit. So I'm going to be picking up issue 2, but we've got a group of assassins that are looking for something. And in the wake of that, they wake something up that I'm not sure they know exactly what they're getting into. It's really weird, but I liked it. So if you're looking for something new, a little different, actually a lot different, check out Liquid Kill, Whatnot Publishing, issue number 1. It was a good time. He's mature for his age. True, Patty. If I could get Dick a high five. Oh, high five. I would, but I would wonder if they got some people a pinch. What? I can't read tonight. I can't read. You want to read that?
He's saying he'd give Dick a high five.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Let's move on to Blue Book, issue number 1 from Dark Horse and Tiny Onion. Fun. I was expecting more for some reason.
Yeah, why?
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I was expecting more. I guess I was expecting to get a little bit more scared, I guess. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't know. For some reason I thought I'd like read this book and I'd be in my bedroom reading it with the lights on and still be like, you know, because like I get that, you know, I get that, I still get that feeling with Department of Truth. You know, there's multiple times where I'm just like uncomfortable, and then this one it was kind of like, okay, that's cool, like it was fun.
So yeah, I think maybe so. The nature of this book is like part of his like true weird aspect of his Substack. So this is more of like, which I'm sure you get now, but you didn't know going into it, so you didn't know. You thought it was supposed to be scary, but it's more supposed to be like oddball stuff where he's talking about real life stuff,
right?
And posing pictures of it for you. I forgot that we were getting 2 stories here. He's actually 2 different comics of his that were released on Substack are put into this one book. Because the second half, the story about Coney Island and stuff was
right.
And I didn't realize that was going to be a part of this. The True Detectives, or I can't remember what they call it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I thought this was classic Tinian. I don't think that anyone would have been really surprised by this book. It did feel quite quick. It read very quick. I enjoyed it. I'll probably pick up the whole series just because it's Tinian favorite. I'm curious exactly how he's going to deliver this story that I think has been told quite often. Benny Hill's story has been told a lot, so I'm curious how he's going to add his own flair to it, because right now it just seems like it's a run-of-the version, but it's just the first issue, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it now, and it's not that's not hindering me from getting issue 2. I'm gonna pick up issue 2. But like when I read it, I was like, oh shit, like I am not in the right spot. Like I'm not, like my expectation of this book was just over here, and I should have been over here. Like it just did not compute at the time. But you know, it is what it is. I do like the artwork though. I like the use of color. You know, when like black and blues, but then when like shit went down, it turned red. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. Like I liked that medium for sure. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Local Man issue number 1. This was a random buy that Mike at the shop, thanks Mike, convinced me to buy, and I didn't know what to expect, but I enjoyed it. We've got this hero who's been kicked off a superhero team. We don't know why, and he's not allowed to be a superhero anymore. Apparently, like the group that he got kicked out of is like suing him and saying like, you can't act like you're holding a shield, you can't fight crime, you can't do this, you can't do that because of what you did. We don't know what he did. And then we have one of his arch nemesis come and find him in a bar trying to tell him something, and he thought this guy's trying to fight me, so he ends up getting into his glory days and beating the shit out of him. But we end up finding out that the guy is like trying to tell him something something bad's about to happen, and the guy ends up getting, the nemesis gets, like the bad guy ends up going to jail, and our main character is kind of just trying to like get back to being normal and back to his life, but he still has like these impulses of being a hero, but he's kind of trying to reevaluate and get back into society, and the issue ends with that guy being murdered in his in his jail cell, all chained up, and he's got like a sign written in his blood saying like, I'm coming for you next, or some shit like that. And like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this book? Some crazy shit. It read really well. It was super fun. The cool part about this book is that there are 2 stories going on in it, because when you're reading the first part, or what you think is the first part, you're like, well, what did he do? Well, if you get the book, and I'll show you. So the cover I have on the screen is, I think, like cover C, and it's got a like a shiny cover.
It looks like a Liefeld cover.
Yeah. So you read the book, and then when you turn towards the next page, the page is upside down. Well, look at this. There's a whole new other story that's kind of like the actual, like if it was a comic book. And you actually get a little insight to the team that he was on, not why he got kicked off, but you can see where the friction is starting in this part of the book.
Okay.
It's interesting, dude. I don't know if this was, excuse me. I don't know if this was Robbie's pick of the week, but he talked about it and I was like, oh, like that sounds interesting. And then Mike at the shop was like, dude, go pick it up. I'm like, okay. I liked it.
You see, so okay.
I liked it. So Mike, kudos to you. I'm gonna pick up issue 2, but here, I'll show you that panel of excuse me. God damn it. Get that tickle in my throat.
Yikes.
Dude, yeah.
Pretty intense.
Take over. I gotta take some water.
He's dead. He's dying. Yeah, I honestly was turned off by this book when I saw this cover, but I'm actually glad to. This is like a C cover because I got who was this? Jaden said definitely looked like an X-Men cover when I first saw it, and I got like weird like Liefeld '90s vibes from this, and was like, ooh, I don't know about all that. I don't know that that's really what I'm looking for. But,
no, it's just the cover.
It's just the cover. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe I should give. Or
well, God damn it, the main series. The main part of the book does not have this feel, but the backup, the book that I showed you when you flip it, definitely feels like a 90s X-Men book. Like you read it and you're like, oh shit, like it's like two different sides of the story, which is really cool. I don't know. It's not my pick of the week, obviously, but it definitely came out of nowhere, and kudos to Mike for suggesting it, because I usually when they suggest, I'm like, I don't know, but I took a leap of faith, and Mike didn't steer me wrong for sure.
All right, let me read Joe's question.
Okay, go ahead.
We've got our ending question here, two-parter. Today, comics are written for the trades. Look at the sales. Of it singles, and I have reread some arcs that I didn't like but ended up loving, like War World Saga. So the question is, are we doing ourselves a disservice on reading comics monthly because they aren't designed to be read that way? Oh, what a loaded question.
Oh, I gotta reread that because I was like coughing and
okay. So today comics are written for trades versus singles.
Right.
Are we doing ourselves a disservice by reading these things in singles instead of just waiting for trades? Because, and he gave an example, because there's an arc that the War World Saga arc, he hated reading it in singles, but then reread it totaled all together and said, oh, actually, no, I do quite like the story. It's much better when read sequentially, consecutive.
I think it depends on the writer and the story that you're reading. I've definitely read series where I was like, man, well, take the Doctor Strange book that I just finished reading. Like, shit, that is definitely needs to be read as a collected, because there were so many things. It just didn't feel connected. It felt very disjointed. And there was another book like that where we were reading. Oh, it was a Tiny Onion book. It seems to be Onion. Nice House on the Lake.
Yeah.
You know, it took so many breaks that you just couldn't follow. And like, I know it's a good story, right? But we had so many breaks that you had to like either go back and read an issue to kind of get jolted back in, or your memory had to be jolted by something that happened in the book in order to remember. So I think it's just all dependent on the writer and how fluid their writing is, and how long, you got to hope that the book is coming out every month, or if you're getting 3 months breaks, like Peach Momoko, for instance, when she does it, I don't feel lost, even though her book comes out every 3 months, and I think that's a credit to the writer and their story. That's my answer.
Okay. I think I'm probably in the opposite camp.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the show, I probably would only read exclusively trades. If it wasn't for the show, and if I thought the comics industry could thrive not selling singles. I think my biggest reason for continuing to buy singles is to support the comic book industry in its, in the best way that we can, because these books still won't continue if singles aren't being sold, and because of the show. But you're right. There are just so many things that I think that's the way we're writing nowadays, and that's just, I think that makes better storytelling. I think that for the most part, telling stories in a serialized fashion is very difficult and very limiting. And I think you can tell a better story if you do what Hickman does and just say, fuck it, I'm going to write a huge story. All right, I got 600 pages of comics. Y'all divide them up how you want to. I don't give a shit, but just figure it out. 10 issues, 60 pages each. I don't care. You know what I mean? And I think we can tell a better story that way. But I don't know that comics survives that. I just don't know that comics ever moves into the more manga-esque, even though I know mangas are serialized well, but I don't know. I just don't know that it could work that way.
Calvin says judging a book by its cover. Sorry. Yeah, y'all are naughty. Rick, I think you may be right, Joe, and I think that's why Jim and Nate aren't liking Radiant Black. It's been more of a month to month with a long game story in the background.
I don't know about Radiant Black.
Okay, here's my problem. All right, Rick, here we go. The reason why I fell off of Radiant Black is I understand what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but we have been teased with that. I don't know. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in Radiant Black, and I hate that because there's something there. There's something really cool there. But like with the character of Nathan, I don't care. I don't care about him. Like,
all right. It's so funny because when the other guy became, what's his name? Marshall?
Yeah, his brother. Or his friend.
When Marshall became the Radiant, you were like, I can't wait for Nathan to come back. I don't like this guy.
No, okay, hold on. The reason why I didn't care about Nathan's story arc in the sense of him being a failed writer, and it was just like, woe is me the whole fucking time. It's like, look, dude, you're a goddamn superhero now. Let's go, right? And I was like, but what about right? I don't care. Like, and the reason why I didn't care, like at the beginning I did, right? But then we got promised this really cool intergalactic space battle, war, whatever, and it's like, and like, here's everyday life. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, I want Power Rangers. I want Galactic War. I want Supermassive.
Like, that's you're hitting on the reason why I jumped out of Radiant Black, which is none of those reasons you said, except in issue like 7 or 8, Nathan gets shown the future of this huge, massive intergalactic space war, and I was like, oh, I want that. I'll keep reading. And that was the only reason why I stayed in after issue like 4 or 5. We got all the way to 20, and I was like, you still haven't shown me Intergalactic. I mean, we've been doing this for a year and a half, and we still haven't. I still don't got no space war.
No, I'm in that same boat. Like,
we are ranting about Radiant Black when that was not even the point.
Well, it's because
the question was about serialized stories and whether.
Rick, I understand though, and I know you like it, and I don't want to diminish that. I know you're liking Radiant Black, and I know I did. I know I did, and I'm apologizing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that's why we're not reading it. The reason we're not reading it is because I just feel like the story is flat, in my opinion. I know it's good, but and then there were so many damn tie-ins. Like, hey, let's read Radiant Pink, and then Radiant Yellow, and then Radiant Red. I'm like, just give me the war, dude. Give me Supermassive, the Massive Verse, or whatever it was called. Anyway, Joe, look at manga. They go chapters, and some chapters only 10 pages, and I bet people wouldn't like it as much. Reading manga is better if you can read 300 pages than the 10.
Sure, but isn't that the way? That's the only way we consume it. Right? Still released weekly, in like Shonen Jump and stuff like that. Like, and it's only just 10 pages. It's still serialized. We just consume it that way. But there are plenty of people out there that are consuming it on this micro chunk basis.
Oh, when I read when I would read Bleach illegally, I would, yeah, I would read every week. I would read the next chapter. Like, dude, that was so much fun.
Yeah. And you can do that with a lot of the services now. If you their app for $2.99 a month, whatever, you can read the weekly.
Super cheap. It's crazy. Patty, it's definitely checks out. I'm leaning towards omnibus and trades more so nowadays. Joe, I've read a lot of trades, and I'm starting to separate my piles from trades. X-Men books read better 6 issues at a time. Interesting. Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. I think for me, the appeal for floppies, and I'm sure it's a brain thing. I just there's a high off of walking out of the comic shop every week with like a stack of books. Like for me, there's just some kind of nostalgia to it. So that's another reason why I like to read individual issues.
Yep.
Here comes Rich, and I know Rich. I'm sorry. I started this fire, and I apologize. But that's what I'm saying. If it's written in a trade paperback, the story will progress faster, and you might like it more. That was my only point. Y'all don't have to like it. No, I get that. I think my frustration, I'm right there with Nate. If I were to whittle it down for Radiant Black, my frustration's the same thing. We were promised this like big war, and we still haven't gotten it yet. And like,
if that actually happens, I'll probably go back to them.
Oh, it will, because they're getting ready to write. I don't know if I sent it to you, but there's a Massive Verse Volume 2 coming out like in the summer, I think. Which is and I think is it Dead Note? What was the book that we read that had the veteran in San Francisco with the purple suit?
I don't remember. I know.
Anyway, she's supposed to be in it. The goth Power Ranger is supposed to be in it, and then Radiant Black and Inferno Girl Red's going to be in it. So I'm probably going to pick it up, but I'm going to be frustrated with it. My book, my Bronze Age and early 2000 books get singles, Patty says, and silver if I can afford it. John, Comic Joe agreed with about the covers. Joe, did y'all talk about Hickman coming back to bring the Ultimate Universe back? I was watching, we haven't talked about it. I was watching, what's his name? Comic Book Herald, and he was doing a video on this week's X Books, and 3/4 of his video was about Hickman coming back to write the Ultimates. Like, to say that he's excited about Hickman writing the Ultimates would be an understatement. Like, he is so jacked for it. So I need to. Yeah, it's a micro series. It's a micro event. It's only 4 issues long. I think that's what Hickman will. I think that's his only involvement now with Marvel from now on. Because I think he even said it, like, Marvel doesn't want him writing ongoings anymore. They want him to write a little mini event that sets up everything so that other writers can come in and just write the rest of the continuity. That sounds like that's what he's going to be doing. I mean, the dude's busy.
Doing what?
Writing his shit for Substack.
Nothing's happening over there. Nothing is happening.
Well, he sends plenty of emails saying he is doing stuff. So you better.
Sure. They all do.
Plus, apparently, he has another book with Marvel that we're gonna get teased in New Comic Book Day. Right,
one with Valeria Sheedy.
Right. This is not what this whole Ultimates announcement is not what the Mystery Project is.
No, I mean, it is. We've always known there's two events.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You're smarter. You're smarter than me.
You smarter.
You smarter. Calvin says I wasn't a fan of Hickman's Ultimates. I never read it. I know you've dabbed in it, right, or no?
I know nothing about the Ultimates. I have not read one singular that universe, and I'm obviously not interested at all. That's why I just don't know that we're the right people to cover it, or if I'm the right person to cover it, because nope, don't care.
I don't think Miles is going anywhere. I think the Ultimates universe will be a part of the 616. Like, I think they're just gonna, they're all gonna come in. So we're just gonna get variants of people, and I mean that's the name of the game right now with all things Marvel. We are in the variant game.
See what Grayson said?
What Grayson say?
Grayson said, "Yeah, ain't a lot on that stuff." Too.
Oh, he subscribed to it. Did you do the $300 package? All right, let's talk about our last book of the night, and that is Infernal Girl Red, issue number 2 or part 2. there is mystery in this book. I'm enjoying it. I think it's fun. We've got new villains in the book. We've got villains who know Infernal Girl Red's mom when she used to work with Infernal Girl Red back in the day. It's wild. This book is wild. It's crazy fun, but my fear is that when when this book ends in part 3, there's going to be a very long waiting period to get to the next parts of the book, and I think it's going to do the book a disservice. And so that's my only fear, is that like we're going to get wrapped up in this really cool story, and then it's like, all right, we'll see you guys in 6 months. Yeah. It's like, dude, no, like you got to keep the momentum, you know. And I know that this was originally a Kickstarter book, but there's got to be something where Image can be like, look, if that's an avenue that you want to do, we'll just give you the funding so that you can just start it and you can keep going. Because like there are fun stories like that just get cut, and like, oh, like what was the book that took like a 6-year hiatus? Was it Saga, right? Like we don't read that, but it's like gone for 6 years and like, oh yeah, I'm so jacked for it. I'm like,
hold on. What? We don't read that now. I've read the original run of it.
Okay.
Well, you don't just, hold on. Sound like you're.
Why are you getting mad?
Continue.
Anyway, I'm enjoying the book. I'm liking the story. I love the mystery behind it. I just hope my worry is that part 3 there will be this massive cliffhanger, and then they're gonna come and say, but you're gonna have to wait 6 months to a year because it's gonna take us some time. Yeah. And that to me will be completely like, that's unfortunate. Like there needs to be some more fluidity within the publishing so that we can get the story more consistent. Because I feel like I'll forget, right? And I don't like that. But we see more of the power set with Inferno. We see this new villain who knows her mom, but what the hell? And then the issue basically ends with the new villain kidnapping her mom. And so she's like, oh shit, like not only has our city been displaced and we're in this multiverse time jump thing, now my mom is missing. So there's a lot at stake going on right now. And all of this, she's juggling being in college. So digging it, slice of life, superhero, Power Rangers, artwork is fantastic. Having a good time. So can't wait for part 3, but my hope is that between getting to the next parts, there isn't a long wait time. Hopefully we'll move it along so that we're not sitting for 6 months not getting a book, because that would, like, what book that I'm missing right now that I saw at Barnes & Noble the other day and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that book. When's that coming back? Ultra Mega.
Oh yeah.
Remember Ultra Mega? It's been
I don't think it's coming back. I don't think he has any plans to do it.
No, because he ended it with like, and we're coming back. Like he ended it with it coming back.
What was it? Jason Howard, right?
I believe so. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you write this really fun, cool story, memorable story.
That's also, I mean, it's an independent book. If he doesn't have the money to do it, then it's not happening. This isn't.
Well, we need to figure something. We got to win the lottery and start funding comic book creators, guy. That's frustrating because that book was amazing, and like I remember that it was coming back. It ended on a hook.
I remember.
Anyway, Rich, before we go, I know I sound like it, but I'm not a Massiverse fanboy. I like Radiant Black, but I'm not reading any of the others. To be honest, if I never read another Radiant Black, I wouldn't care. Calvin, remember when Ultimate 2 went on hiatus right before the finale? I don't.
No.
Disciple, so ready for Heron to return with that one. Yeah, dude, that was a great book. And we're just sitting there going like, and if it's because he doesn't have funding, that would suck.
Also, Disciple asked earlier, just curious, since I'm pretty new to the channel, have y'all dropped Ice Cream Man? Ice Cream Man's actually a book we haven't picked up. So we picked up some of, what's that guy's name? W. Maxwell Campbell. We've picked up a few of his books. I read King of Nowhere. We read Haha. But Ice Cream Man we missed. Probably the next collected edition I'm going to buy is that really nice hardcover of the first 15 issues of Ice Cream Man. But if that's something you're enjoying, then I don't know,
maybe we should jump on it. Yeah,
figure it out.
I've heard multiple other channels that I watch. That's like one of their picks of the week, like every time it comes out. So I think it's something we probably should jump on. onto. I think because Ice Cream Man came out right before we started this channel. I think it was like.
It was before, yeah. It was for sure before.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 or 5 issues in before we started the channel. So it's just something we never really jumped on. All right. Well, that is going to do it for this beefy ass week for February 15th, right? Let us know down in the comments or in chat. You know, what did you read? If you're watching this as a past issue, what did you read? What was your pick of the week? Stay tuned. Obviously, this Tuesday we'll have a new Comic Book Day video for the week of February 20. No, I'm sorry, March 1st. March 1st, and it is itty bitty, guys. I think we have 5 or 6 books total. Like, it is a short week. So bring your questions next Sunday. If you got any questions, bring them, write them down, and ask us in chat next Sunday, because we will need it, because we will have a very, very short show next week. We don't have a lot of books. Some cool books, but not a lot of books. Also, just to give you guys an update, we are reaching out to content creators, writers, and artists to bring a new video segment, not to the live show, but as just like a pre-recorded segment called Geeking Out, where we talk to these our favorite creators and stuff like that. And Jaden, you're right. Hit that like button. If you're watching right now, make sure to smash that like button. And we've reached out to our first person, and I think we may have booked them. So be on the lookout for a new video segment coming soon, hopefully, called Geeking Out, where we're going to interview content creators, artists, and writers here on YouTube. It's going to be really fun. So be on the lookout for that. We are in the works right now with our first guest, kind of working out the logistics of it, but be on the lookout for that, because it's going to be super cool. So we'll see you guys this Tuesday, and then obviously we will see you Sunday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, live here to talk about next week's polls. And yeah, let us know also in the comments or on our next live show, what's some extra reading that you're doing that might not be specifically comic book related. We'd be very interested to hear about that. So as always, fam, to be kind to one another, be kind to one another, and read more comics. We'll catch you guys next Sunday. Later.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere about him working on Ultraman or Ultra Mega.
Calvin says, and we're still live, interview Junior.
I don't think he would like us to interview him.
No, I don't think he'd have fun with that.
Oh,
you should
no,
get
that's a good
LCS
idea.
or Ron. You know what? That's not a bad idea. We'll check that out. I'll ask Ron. That'd be fun. Then y'all can meet Ron. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next